Evening, everyone. Greetings from Let's Learn Law. My name is Ishika, and on behalf of Let's Learn Law, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you joining us for today's panel discussion on legal challenges and regulations in AI and emerging technologies. We are a startup focused on upskilling law students and the legal fraternity, bridging the gap between classroom learning and real world industry readiness. Our mission is to empower the next generation of legal professionals with the practical knowledge and skills they need to excel in the fast evolving legal landscape. I now invite our moderator, Mr. Anand Verma, to start the panel discussion on topic legal challenges and regulations in AI and emerging technologies. Mr. Anand Verma, a legal professional and company secretary with over 15 years of experience in real estate law. He is the managing partner at Team Legal. Mr. Verma has demonstrated a perfect fusion of academic excellence and practical brilliance. Specializing in real estate law, his journey in legal domain has been marked by a unique blend of academic brilliance and practice acumen, earning him a stellar reputation across the industries. So, Mr. Anand Verma, over to you. Can you please start this panel discussion by introducing all our panel experts?
Thank you, Ishika. A very good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's panel discussion on legal challenges and regulations in AI and emerging technologies. I would like to extend my gratitude and thanks to Let's Learn Law for arranging such a wonderful topic and bringing together such exceptional panels in this webinar. This is a topic that is not only timely, but also critical as we determine the rapid advancements in artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. These innovations are transforming industries, economies, and our daily lives, but they also bring with them complex legal and regulatory challenges that we must address to ensure ethical, secure, and fair use of these technologies. Today, we will explore key aspects such as the ethical implications of AI, the regulatory frameworks needed to govern its use by maintaining OECD principles, and the challenges posed by AI in areas like cybersecurity and cybercrime. We will also discuss how businesses and governments can work together to create a balanced approach that fosters innovation while protecting public interest. And to guide us through this discussion, we have an exceptional panel of experts. Our first panelist, I would like to introduce Mr. Vijay Shankar, more popularly known as Navi, is a true pioneer in the field of cyber law and data protection law in India. With decades of experience, he is a leading consultant and auditor for compliance framework such as HIPAA, ITA 2008, GDPR, and the recently introduced DPDPA, India's Data Protection Act. Navi is the founder of India's premier cyber law portal and currently serves as the chairman of the Foundation of Data Protection Professionals in India, FDPPI, a pioneering not-for-profit organization dedicated to advancing data protection standards. He is also the managing director of Ujjwala Consultants Private Limited. Navi will shed light on the regulatory landscape, including the gaps and opportunities in current laws governing AI and emerging technologies. And audience, our second panelist, Colonel Binod Koshi, is a cybersecurity expert and veteran with over 31 years of distinguished military service. A war-wounded soldier, Colonel Koshi has led critical initiatives in cyber intelligence, digital forensics, and cybersecurity governance. During his tenure in the Indian Army and as a Director Technology and CISO at UIDAI, Unique Identification Authority of India, his expertise spans cyber law, e-governance, and digital transformation. Currently, he serves as the Chief Legal and Digital Officer at ESF Labs, where he drives innovative cybersecurity solutions. A thought leader in the field, Colonel Koshi is deeply committed to strengthening cyber resilience and national security frameworks. He will focus on the ethical implementation and security challenges of AI in the context of cyber and technology laws. And our third panelist, Mr. Rajas Pingle, is an accomplished technology law data privacy expert with over 13 years of experience advising multinational corporations, financial institutions, and government bodies, renowned for developing strategic legal solutions, ensuring regulatory compliance, and mitigating risk in high-stakes environment. Mr. Rajas has provided leadership on legal matters for some of the Fortune 500 Indian companies and fast-growing enterprise, adept at collaborating with cross-functional teams brings a wealth of practical knowledge and insights into the legal and regulatory challenges of AI and emerging technologies. He will discuss the importance of AI governance for business maintaining OECD principles and the governing concerns of AI being used in cyber crimes. Each of our panelists brings a unique perspective to the table, and I'm confident that their insights will help us better understand the legal regulatory challenges we face in the rapidly evolving field. I encourage everyone to engage, ask questions, and reflect on how we can shape a balanced legal framework that fosters innovation while ensuring accountability and security. To all the audiences, I would like to inform that chat box is open, and as the session progresses, you have any queries, any questions, any doubts, you please put it on the chat box, and we will at the end take one by one. Let's dive into the discussion, starting with our first panelist, Mr. Vijay Shankar, will shed light on the regulatory landscape, including the gaps and opportunities in current laws governing AI and emerging technologies. Mr. Vijay Shankar, over to you.
Thank you, Anand, and good evening, friends. Let me share some of my thoughts on AI regulation, particularly in India. As all of us know, India does not currently have a specific regulation on AI. In fact, if you look at the EU AI Act, I think it is one of the few legislations which actually provide us some guidelines on how to go about the EU AI regulation, even in India. So what has been the approach of EU AI Act is to classify AI in terms of the risk profile. Okay, so it considers AI and classifies it as unacceptable risk, a high risk, low risk, and no risk. And if it is an acceptable risk, by the definition, that is banned. And if it is high risk, it is regulated with human oversight. If it is low risk, maybe there will be only a kind of disclosures or something like that. And if it is no risk, it's fine. This is the risk-based approach adopted by EU. Now in India, what has happened is that we had our first law, which was Information Technology Act, in the year 2000. And very recently, we are discussing the DPDPA 2023. So these are the two laws in which some kind of regulation is presently available. And in future, the government may think of a specific law. Sometime back, we were discussing Digital Act, Digital India Act, but it has not been, say, attended to later on. So we do not know whether any new law will come. But currently, what ITA 2000 does is, it brings in accountability for a deployer of AI, saying that whatever is the activity of AI and its consequences, they will be attributed in law to the person who is responsible for the software. So if the deployer is considered as the software owner of this AI algorithm, he is accountable for whatever consequences which arise out of the use of AI, and the general law relating consequences will take over. For example, if the AI algorithm results in, let us say, defaming a particular person who brings a lawsuit on the organization which has deployed the AI. Then the defamation law, as is present, whether it is in Bharat, this BNS or any other law, that will be applicable, and the accountability for that will be that of deployer. This is implied from Section 11 of Information Technology Act regarding attribution of the automated systems to the person who has caused it to behave in a particular manner. Now, when we come to DPDPA 2023, it uses the terminology or of a data fiduciary for a person who is used processing personal data. And while using personal data, if he uses an AI algorithm, DPDPA 2023, as per the latest draft rules which has been released by the government, the data fiduciary is expected to shows due diligence in the usage of the AI algorithm. The term due diligence means that the data fiduciary should take all necessary steps which are required to ensure that the impact of the AI algorithm on the data principles whose data is being processed, he will be accountable that way. So by fixing accountability, we are trying to ensure that the existing laws may be made applicable to the environment where data is being processed using the AI algorithm. So this is a simplified. The same way the existing law of intermediaries as is available in Information Technology Act can be applied in cases where the AI algorithm or its supplier or a vendor is
I think Navi sir has some network issues.
Yeah. Okay. So in the meantime, Navi sir comes back. Let's move on to our.
no, I will just complete.
Oh, sure, sure, sure.
Okay, just complete
Sure,
my last point, then you can take over.
sure, sure, sir. No issues.
I,
Please go
I,
on.
yeah, I was just saying that there is a concept of intermediary in Information Technology Act, and in case the AI algorithm is holding the code as confidential, the data fiduciary can consider the AI algorithm vendor as an intermediary or as a joint data fiduciary. So I think the Indian approach as of now is to bring in accountability and manage the regulation within that. The regulation may be using the responsible AI norms, the explainability, and other things. I think this is what we can try to understand as of now. You go ahead, Anand.
Thank you, Navi sir, uh, for your insightful opening thoughts on the regulatory landscape and the critical role it plays in governing AI and emerging technology. Your perspective sets a strong foundation for our discussion today. And as you said that India does not have any specific laws for AI, but it will be interesting to see because as the AI is approaching us and in our day-to-day lives and every sector is getting affected by AI or being benefited by AI. So I don't think India will wanted to lose more on that, and India has to come with a strong AI laws. Now let's shift our focus to the ethical implementation and security challenges of AI in the context of cyber and technology laws. To discuss this, I would like to invite Colonel Vinod Koshi to share his expertise. Colonel Vinod, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us to this forum, and I hope at the end of the discussion. You would really benefit from what we have. All of us experts are here. As we speak right now, the advent of quantum computing is actually getting in the way of our regulatory implementation, as well as how we look at AI and its and or the way we are going to use internet as a service in the days to come. Amazon came out with about few hours ago a chip called Ocelot. That is the quantum computing chip that is there. Microsoft about 4 days back came out with Majorana, that is their chip of quantum, and Google, of course, had the Willow, which was placed much. Now all these are in qubits. Okay, if I can equate a qubit, it is about 1,000 best computers of today. That is how you can look at the chip capacity. Now, with regard to ethical usage and with regard to the regulatory aspect of it, all across the world it's quite volatile. In fact, before the Prime Minister was there at Paris, there was a prelude meeting which was held at Dubai, and I was fortunate to be there in the AI summit of that at Dubai. All across the world there's a lot of volatility. In fact, I went there when DeepSeek was just launched, and there's a lot of inhibition among industries as to how AI will influence the concept of regulation in the country. Only the EU has come out with a regulatory framework. India may not bring out a, a law per se, but however, the Ministry of IT, which is the ownership, has already established a AI India consortium. It consists of few officers from the government and from the private. So we have an AI India consortium under which there are few officers already placed. And one of the initiative which was done is in the month of January, they brought out four subcommittees to mainly look at fairness, biased, and human right aspect of AI utilization in the country. Notwithstanding that, the AI market in the world across is will reach about 15 to 16 trillion US dollars by about 2030. Now, that shows that how much of development is happening in India. Our Minister of IT has also informed that we are going to come out with a foundational model which we were lacking, and maybe in about a year's time we should have a foundational model. But the challenge in India is for the fact that we have a large population to subscribe to, and also for the fact that we've got about 200 to 300 odd languages, and most of the languages abroad are transliterable, but in India it is translation that is essential. So you have to build language models, uh, text understanding, plain text models, which are essential, that will cater for the complete population of India. And mind you, probably we generally start the journey late, but we would be one of the leaders in it. And when I went to the summit to Abu Dhabi or UAE, that is Dubai, I realized that most of them were Indians, including prompt engineers, including technology partners who are actually into the business of AI. India may find its place in terms of implementation, because they say India is the best test bed to test any application that rides on any IT initiative or ICT initiative. So you would find that India will be one of the test beds to bring in AI as an application or utilization. However, I feel that India will bring out a comprehensive framework to ensure that there is fairness in business, unbiasedness, and also from the human right perspective. Yeah, Anand.
Thank you, Colonel Koshi, for your insightful opening thoughts on the topic. Your perspective has set a strong foundation for our discussion today. And as you said, that there are challenges in India, but India is coming out with its AI model, and India future is bright in implementation, and India will be the test beds for AI. These are very motivating and thought-provoking thoughts for AI, because as you said that always in IT, India has played a very uh, front role, and we are very hopeful that in AI, India will bring out a comprehensive framework and that will benefit us all. So now let's turn our attention to the intersection of AI governance, business practices, and the growing concern of AI being used in cyber crimes. Because we everyone today know what a cyber crime is, but to guide us through this, I would like to invite Mr. Rajas to share his insights. Mr. Rajas, over to you.
First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for inviting all of us for this insightful session. And I think both the experts spoke perfectly well regarding their concerning areas. And when we talk about the OECD principles, I think these principles more or less are incorporated into whatever law we have in the respective countries today. Let's talk, if we talk about EU AI Act, if we talk about the sectorial law which the US has, I think the principles would remain the same everywhere. So what the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has brought in as first principle would be the human-centric values and fairness. So what does that mean now? And uh, as the Colonel Sir correctly said, that it would be very difficult because there are so many nuances here in India, so many languages, so many religions, so many castes and creeds. So there are so many different peoples, a diverse population. So as far as the first principle is concerned, AI should respect the human rights, it should be fair, and it should avoid discrimination. That would be very important in terms of India as a country, right? The second principle is transparency and explainability. You don't need a black box here. So whatever we are typing in the AI, it is reaching a particular output. It is giving you a particular output, but how it reached that output or decision, that should be clear, understandable, and not hidden. So this is also very, very important. Uh, Third would be robustness, security, and safety. So way I look at AI is there are large volumes of data sets which are being used, right? So AI should work uh, reliably. AI should be secured enough because if there is a data breach, for example, if there is a data breach in OpenAI, I think large amount of data would be at risk because that module is training on such a large data set. Okay, so I think there is always that threat, and it should not cause harm in any manner. Then I think accountability would be a very important aspect to be looked into. So those developing and using AI should be responsible for its impact. I think Navi sir also pointed up, touched upon it, was saying that there is some sort of accountability in today's uh, Indian rules and specific to the AI developers or the deployers, right? So that accountability should be there, but not at the same time, not at the cost of innovation. Otherwise, companies would be scared to innovate and mm, bring about the next models or the next technological advancements in AI. So that should be also taken into consideration. And another principle is it should be inclusive of growth, and it should be a sustainable development. Now, if you see, what does that mean? That AI should support economic and social progress for everyone without harming the environment. If you see right now, I think President Trump also said in one of his conferences or one of his press briefings that the amount of water required to cool the data centers or the AI infrastructure, that is huge. So the advancement in AI should not be at the cost of uh, environmental harm. So I think OECD principles touch upon all these things, and businesses they can simply ensure compliance with at least with OECD principles, by conducting a regular AI impact assessment, by conducting or by implementing technical transparency measures in place, by establishing clear accountability structure. It need not be there in the law right now in Indian context, but all the AI-based companies can follow this for sure. And then creating documentation of AI systems and decisions, then uh, adopting international certifications and standards like ISO 42001, like ISO 27001, or which pertains to information security, or like ISO 27701, which pertains to data protection and privacy, and ISO 42001. It's a new standard pertaining to AI. So I think these principles are important in a way for everyone because they provide uh, a globally recognized ethical framework. Uh, so I think this is what the OECD principles are in brief.
Thank you, Rajas, and for your valuable insights on AI governance and challenges of AI-enabled cyber crimes. Your perspective has given us a lot to think
Yeah.
about.
As far
Yeah,
as cyber crimes are concerned,
yeah.
some of the challenges which I see right now that the cyber criminals are exploiting AI, one would be through phishing.
Yeah, I think we lost his audio. You can
Yeah,
go ahead.
he has some network issues, so we will continue with. Um, and he rightly said, in there should be inclusive of growth and sustainable development, and robustness, security, and safety is what required. So his perspective has given us a lot to think about, especially when it comes to balancing innovation with compliance and security. So now we move on with the discussion, and our tone is set right in the right direction. So I would like to put my first question with Mr. Navi. Mr. Navi, many jurisdictions, including the EU AI Act and India's DPDP Act, are introducing AI regulations. How do these regulatory frameworks compare, and what we can learn from them, and how can governments ensure that regulations remain effective and adaptable?
See, one thing I already mentioned is that EUA Act is risk-based. Indian law is also risk-based because it talks about the due diligence required to be exhibited by the users and the responsibility of the developers in terms of being transparent about the training. In case we are talking of LLM models, the most important thing is the training, and therefore some kind of assurance, you can call it as conformity assurance certification, to be given by the vendors to the deployers. So this is something which is given, and it will have to be taken into account. Other than this, the DPDPA is talking of the concept of due diligence and treating the supplier of a software as a joint data fiduciary. The moment you look at the vendor as a joint data fiduciary, he has to take the responsibility for the consequences. And that is where the requirement of transparency automatically falls on the uh, vendor. Now, we can say that innovation is important, but along with the innovation, the software developers need to take responsibility for the AI. Without responsibility, I don't think AI is something which can be given a free hand. Now, when we are looking at the cyber crime situation, say we are using the AI for, let's say, developing deep fake and so on. Now, one of the requirements is that there has to be some kind of, say, labeling of the AI so that the user knows that he is dealing with an AI. For example, today when you go to many websites, you do not know whether the responses are coming from chatbots or from real persons. So I think this situation has to change. Internationally, already in the EU, that situation is being addressed, and most of the people actually do the disclosure. But I think in India, with whatever little AI adoption is there, we are still not taking the responsibility to accept that a particular response is coming from an AI system. And Indians are using AI systems which are trained on non-Indian data, which is likely to create a little higher bias because the training is totally on a different kind of an environment. So when we are looking at bringing in some kind of, say, acceptance, we need to ensure that the vendors need to take responsibility for the AI. I think the other gentleman also brought in the issue of environmental damage. In fact, people say that one query on, say, Chat GPT may consume as much of energy as is required to be cooled by one bottle of 500 ml of water. So that is the cost of use of AI. And obviously, such software needs to be regulated. See, and that regulation will depend upon the definition of AI. The most important aspect of AI regulation is how do we define AI? Because, say, the most important aspect is how much of the coding we can consider as adaptable. That is the AI capable of altering its code from out of its own observations? Is it a self-learning model where without human intervention, it will alter its characteristics? That is the real AI. As long as AI is able to do what it has been programmed to do, I think the human control remains. But the moment we allow an AI to actually take its own decisions and combine it with the ability to make changes in its behavior based on its own observation, we are creating an uncontrollable monster. And we have already seen ChatGPT itself going rogue sometimes. And in future, this tendency is likely to increase. So those kind of AI are really the high-risk AIs, which we need to bind in terms of responsibility to the organizations which are responsible for releasing them into the marketplace. I think there the regulation has to be very stringent because some of these kind of AI are going to be embedded into humanoid robots, and we will be having situations where the society is going to have say AI-driven robots, and that is where the risk to the society will arise. I think we need to recognize this before we look at open arm adoption of AI. This is my immediate thought.
Thank you, Mr. Navi. Very thought-provoking, and I agree with your thoughts that till and until it is human controllable, it is fine. But when AI has been programmed, like it is going to change its own way, going to code for its own, so it is very high risk AI that needs to be looked into. So future is very interesting. We are stepping into that future. We don't know what is holding for us, but no, but that is why today's session, to let us everyone know that how we should prepare in every industry which we are, either we are everyone in the legal or whatever industry you are or you are planning to go into, AI is everywhere. So let's come to the ethical part, and I would like to put a question to Mr. Vinod, that how do we define, Mr. Vinod, Colonel Vinod's ethical AI, and what are the core principles that should guide the development and deployment of AI systems? You are on mute, Colonel Vinod, please.
Yeah, a very interesting question. Let me give a use case here to understand what is ethical AI. Let us say you have two advocates sitting in the chamber in Delhi. One is a prosecution expert in criminal law, and the other one is a defense expert in criminal. Now, what will happen is, let's say the AI is available as an engine to him in his office. If you feed in more of the defense and you claim innocence, let's say a BNS, say 305, or theft, Bharti Nyaya Sanhita 305, where there was a theft. So if you feed a machine with ignorance and innocence, and if you have the other advocate is feeding the machine with culpability, higher culpability, what will happen is these two machines are not in tandem. They will talk in different manners as to what query you place. Okay? One would say that he's innocent, the other one, the same, let's say a complaint, if it is uploaded on that particular, these two different Gen AI, LLM models, it will give two different answers. One, so hence, there is an aspect of hallucination and there is an aspect of bias which happens. Now, ChatGPT is not an AI. Understand? It's not an AI. ChatGPT stands for what? GPT stands for what? Generative pre-trained transformer. It's how we have trained that person is how the answers will come. For example, I'll just go by another small example. Generally, when we go to a doctor, we find a thermometer. It's got centigrade and Fahrenheit. Okay, and we all know uh, uh, body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade and 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Boiling of water is 100 degrees centigrade, which is 212 Fahrenheit. Or freezing of water is 0 degrees centigrade and 32 degree Fahrenheit. That's if you feed this as an Excel sheet to a generative AI model, it will tell you that the connecting formula, or going back to your 8th standard, F minus 32 over 9 is equal to C by 5. It will tell you that. But if you feed the reverse, let's say you say 0 is something and 98 is something else, it will give you a formula connecting those two. So the engine is yours. So, hence, what is required is fairness, transparency, unbiased, and being friendly to human. That is what is the crux of ethical AI. Now, notwithstanding that, there are many utilities that are trained in such a manner that may go violent against all this. Now, here comes the aspect of accountability. So, since you own the machine, since you own that brain, it is how accountable you are to the society that matters. So, hence, transparency, accountability again is a part of this aspect. Now, mind you, tomorrow, probably in about 5 years from now, a child of 8th standard will be able to carry a laptop and generate his answers in an examination hall. So hence, there is an aspect of accountability as to how we want to use this deadly machine, number one. Number two is the aspect of human rights. Now, you would remember that the very fact of ITization and the IT Act per se of all across the globe, including India, has come out from the Human Rights Declaration of 1948, which was declared by the UN. So any enactment that will come in terms of technology advancement, in terms of processes, in terms of social goods, has to be from that document of the Universal Declaration of 1948, which was published by the UN. So all laws, even the OECD guidelines, is based from there. Okay, what Advocate Pingley was telling. Now, per se, AI is available to us, but how we want to use it is primarily based on how we want to educate ourselves and our next generation on the use of it. However, there is going to be a lot of rogue elements that will happen in the AI world. We are already seeing it. Justice Chandrachud can be deepfaked, and you can cheat Mr. Agarwal, who was one of the big company CEOs. So that also is a threat that is also available today. You can you can probably put me and Navi sir in a boardroom and have a discussion with generative AI as a technology, and it's happened. If you read the news about 2 months back, there was a boardroom meeting in which the CEO sanctioned a good amount of money, 200 crore for a project in Bangkok. At the end of the day, they realized that only the CEO was genuine. All the others, including the CFO and all of them, were fake. So that is how dangerous is the aspect of AI is concerned. So again, I reiterate, fairness, transparency, unbiased accountability, and human rights should be the core. And the responsibility of that is not of the government, not of regulators, it is of you and me who are to here to use that technology. Thank you, Anand. Yeah, that's
Thank you, Colonel Manoj. And uh, at ChatGPT is generative pre-trained transformer. Thanks for this information. And now let's move to the next question. And this is from Mr. Rajas. Mr. Rajas, a multinational corporation adopts AI systems across its operations, but faces criticism for not adhering to OECD principles on transparency and accountability. How can businesses ensure compliance with global AI governance frameworks like the OECD principles? And what are the key pillars of the OECD AI principles, and why are they important for businesses implementing AI technologies? Over to you, Mr.
Just yes, thank you so much. Just before we dive into that question, I want to just pile on what Colonel Sir said. Uh, I think day before yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was reading a judgment passed by a particular court based in the US, uh, and that judgment was regarding submission of case laws, and by a lawyer. 9 out of 10 case laws submitted in that particular case were fake, generated by AI. So AI hallucination is, I think, we are dealing with it to the next level. Apparently, the court finally decided to fine the lawyer who submitted the case laws. He was fined, I think, $3,000. So, whatever information is being generated by LLM, I think you should be vigilant enough to consume that information. You have to cross-check that information, I think, 10 times before relying it on the information as is, because it is going to land you in trouble, like the judgments. And when I also use these LLM tools, I think most of the times, whatever the information is, some of the information is correct, but at least you have to go through it very, very vigilantly to see all of the information is correct, and not just copy paste it everywhere. I think that is more deadly than anything else today. Now, answering your question, I think as far as AI governance framework is concerned, we all have touched upon the core principles that an organization is to follow, like provide making processes, uh, and why AI systems reach a certain conclusion. I think that's what the organizations can do. Then they can create an accountability mechanism with clear ownership of AI outcomes at executive levels. That's what I feel. Uh, then uh, enable independent verification and audit that validates claims about fairness and safety. I think this is far-fetched because I don't know whether if it is a part of a regulation, then they will have to do it and adhere to it for sure, and facilitate uh, meaningful meaningful uh, stakeholder engagement, because there are so many stakeholders when it comes to using of AI. Uh, Incorporating diverse perspective into the system design. So I think that is very, very important. Then uh, they can create a consistent documentation that helps regulators evaluate whenever the law comes, or whenever we have a regulation in place. If the organizations, they create a document in place which is easier for uh, with the regulator to also evaluate compliances, I think that would increase efficiency in general. That is also very important. Then I think essentially translate abstract ethical principles into concrete uh, operational practices, g- improving values, and uh, just more than based on marketing. I think that is also very important. So all these uh, uh, all these things would essentially build trust, uh, while while providing transparency, being ethical, being unbiased, and the other principles. What the organizations can do to build trust through AI governance.
Okay, thank you, Rajas. And
And
yeah,
uh, I think I was not able to just sorry, I was not able to answer because my internet wasn't working. Just to quickly touch upon how the AI is being used for cyber crimes. So I was
yeah,
talking about phishing, and sir also elaborated it. So I won't cover that. But I think automated vulnerability tools are being used, I think, and those tools are easily available. AI-based tools which can easily identify vulnerabilities into systems. So those are being used by bad actors. Then another would be, I think, voice and deepfake, as Sir said. Then uh, the, what I read in several research papers, that there are AI based ransomwares now, and those ransomwares can keep on changing their definition, so they go undetected by even antivirus systems. So I think that is also one aspect to which is being used and deployed by the bad actors, and this has caused the law enforcement agencies, see, the law enforcement agencies can always learn and do their bit, but I think because of the jurisdictional issues, it is causing uh, a lot of problem in investigation also, while handling these large scale attacks nowadays. And specifically, I have seen this on the ground when I was helping the law enforcement agency like Pune Police to investigate and legally help them while the Cosmos Bank attack. If you see that countries may not have MLATs, mutual legal assistance treaties in place to actually share information amongst each other, evidences amongst each other. So when we face these issues, I think it defeats the purpose of investigation. So that is also one thing uh, it normally happens during the investigation of cyber crimes.
yeah, Mr. Rajas, we have one
Thank you.
question from Mr. Jasmeet Kaur, that since you are in answering the question, sir, we are using AI just to make ease to us, so it is not possible to recheck everything generated by AI usually. Okay, no issues, Mr. Rajesh. We will get back to this.
Sorry, I'm not
No
able to hear
issues.
you.
We will get back to the end of the session. So let's we are moving to another question
Sorry,
as
could
we
wait a
have
second.
less time left. So I
I'll
will put
just read
one.
the question.
Yeah, I will ray I will
Sir, we are using AI just to make East worlds.
Mr. Rajesh, are you able to hear me?
No, I think you should.
Yeah. The next question is from Mr. Navi. Sir, how should legal frameworks address AI's dual use nature, where the same technology can be used for both cybersecurity and cyber threats?
Yeah, this is a challenge which we have. We know that if AI is used as a tool and final decision is taken by the human being, then we are on much safer ground. But there, the human should be capable of one understanding that the AI can go wrong, and there is a need to use that AI which has been properly trained. But when we are using automated decision making, we are really on a very tough ground. So, in terms of using AI against AI, I think this is what we are likely to come to in future, as we were discussing now that whether the AI response should be taken as it is or should be checked. I think there will be a need to have two different AIs trained on different training data sets, and we need to pitch one against the other to arrive at some kind of a better decision which is pre-checked. The problem which we have today is the criminals are adopting AI quicker than what the security people are able to adopt. So I think there is a need for security people to move fast and use techniques of, say, quick processing, if possible, using quantum computing to overcome the nature of AI as criminals. But I think it is quite tough because we know that even today, if you take all the digital arrest kind of cases, it is not that the persons who become victims are really being cheated by high technology. It is all because of, say, some kind of sociological reasons that people fall prey to a certain social engineering attacks. And those social engineering attacks can definitely be done better by AI, because we have seen that voice cloning is being done by AI, so that many of these threats and ransomwares, the AI is used to clone the voice of a relative in distress or something like that. So there is a big challenge, and a part of it, perhaps we may try to do it by better awareness, but part of it has to be done by the intermediaries who have to take the responsibility to ensure that unverified AIs are not hosted on their platform. And that will reduce the opportunities available for the AI. I am one of those few persons who think that in the normal cybercrime scenario, even the dark web needs to be regulated by ensuring that the Tor browser is made licensable. Okay, other people may not immediately like this, but I think that giving the platform for the AI algorithms to commit crimes, I think we need to check so that intermediaries or platform owners who are likely to be involved in this must be deterred by severe, say, consequences in terms of higher penalty and so on. So, okay, everywhere we come back to the discussion, are we going to curb innovation? But I think, say, innovation should be there along with safety. There is no need to actually leapfrog into an unknown world. In fact, that's why I sometimes say that if somebody is hoisting an unknown risk on me, like an algorithm supplier who comes and says, this is a great software, please use it, but I will not give you the details of how it works or something like that, then I would like to look at that as with a concept that unknown risk is significant risk for me. So I would not like to take any unknown risk. And if unknown risks are to be adopted, the person who is vending that unknown risk should take extraordinary liability, including accountability and high level of, say, assurances to be provided. And then, of course, if things go wrong, he should be willing to take the GDPR type of fines in millions of dollars. Then only there will be some kind of a control on the use of AI for prevention of crimes. Yeah.
Thank you, Navi sir. And my next question would be to Colonel Binoz. Uh, what are the key legal challenges in implementing AI technologies across industries, particularly in highly regulated sectors like finance, healthcare, and education?
Okay. Ah, Again, a very interesting question. And yesterday I was at the Indo-US Chamber of Commerce, where this specific concern was actually voiced by all of them. Mind you, if we stay away from this technology advent, we are going to be left behind. One has to adopt to the AI era that is coming. The wave has to be adopted by all. I always say that if you don't catch the bus, then you will miss the bus and you will be left alone in this environment without it. So today, I don't know if you've noticed, our children use more of AI than us. All their projects are done from there. Irrespective you know it or not, it is done and it is available on their mobiles. Rather, you don't even require a laptop to run AI for a project like an 8 standard or a 10 standard or even up to 12 standard. Now, when I say that we cannot live without it, that doesn't mean that the industries are not, you know, are not worried about its proliferation. Now, one of the biggest aspect with regard to the use of generative AI is the fact that it crawls into everything and anything in the internet world. It crawls and brings in whatever it has to compile that prompt or the question that you have asked for. Second aspect is the significance of privacy. There is a challenge on privacy. So what the government of India has done, it asked for four subcommittees, and 27 January was the last date to submit your feedbacks to this. One of the subcommittees is with regard to cybersecurity, safety, and legal, and the ethical issues of AI. And mind you, that was one of the largest documents which I saw. So the government is concerned with regard to the safety, legal, and the ethical aspects of these critical industries which are there. Now, algorithms will come. What you're seeing today is 10% of AI that is there, which you see. Large amount of research is happening all across the globe. GPUs are being manufactured in such speed that the computing power will be very high. Now, and also for the fact that since it is not globally regulated, there is lot of ownership crisis that is happening. So, as we see in India itself, the use of AI has actually hampered many cybercrime aspects in this country. But I, for one, being an evangelist of technology, I would always say, if the same technology is available to a criminal, it is also available for good use. So, irrespective, India, by virtue of its population, let's say if I were to analyze a diabetic profiling of my country of 1.4 billion people, humanly it is impossible. So, the use of AI will come handy for good governance in our country because we are 1.4 billion. It's Europe and America put together that stays within the geographical boundaries of India, or even more, rather, I would say. So we cannot go away from the aspect of adoption. Further on, when we as prompt engineers or we as implementers get into the aspect of implementing AI, we need to govern ourselves and ensure that ethics is prevalent in terms. We don't have to be taught how to, behave in a good manner in society. Similar is we don't have to be told how to behave while using AI in society or by using AI for good governance in the country. Yeah.
Rightly said, Colonel Vinoj. One has to adopt AI, otherwise we will left behind. And generative AI, it crawls into everything and anything. So this statement is more than enough to see what is coming up, and only what AI we are seeing is only 10% what is coming. So my next question to Mr. Rajas, during your last when you are giving the answer, a question from Jasmeet Kaur. Sir, we are using AI just to make ease to us. So it is not possible to recheck everything generated by AI usually. We will only get the accurate information when we will find it by own. Person cannot be reliable on AI to be perfect. So the uses of AI should be limited to some aspects. What is your take on this, Mr. Rajas?
See, first of all, there is no substitute for hard work.
Yeah.
So you can't just uh, like imagine in a world wherein you are uh, uh, giving a prompt and getting that information instantly and using that information as is. So you cannot do that. No matter how sophisticated AI becomes, you have to keep on using your own brain, and that's what I see. That's the main problem which we face right now. Our critical thinking, our critical analysis is lagging behind because of AI in some of the aspects. You use it, but you will have to cross check. You'll have to recheck that, no matter how speedy the you require the information. But there won't be any substitute for hard work. You have to cross verify whatever information you get out of AI. And I am telling you from my personal experience that I was studying from for my LLM last year, and I was just searching how many countries we have mutual legal assistance treaties with, and what are the articles mentioned in those treaties. I'm telling you, some of the countries I got the answers for, and I asked the LLM to give me specific articles which are listed in that in those MLTs. Most of the articles were fake. So uh, anyway, for legal use, for your legal research, you will have to rely and but you'll have to cross check the information. I think more or more these uh, uh, softwares like Manupatra AI. So those are solely based on legal databases. I think those will give you more accurate answers than using a generic LLM model. That's what I feel.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rajas. We have one more interesting question at the time of registration. We have from one of our students. How is AI being exploited by cyber criminals, and what challenges do law enforcement agencies face in addressing these threats? Just a quick, because we have little time left now. So please, this is for Mr. Rajas.
Okay. So as I said, the main problem that we are facing as far as the investigation is concerned is uh, the uh, use of technology, the evolving threats, the attack methods which are changing rapidly. So I think the law enforcement agencies, as far as the local police is concerned, I think they are not equipped with investigating the sophisticated AI attacks. If you ask me, it will require a special team. Then there are, as I told you, jurisdictional challenges which will always be there when we talk about cybercrime, because the data is being stored on many servers across the globe, across the various jurisdictions. So those laws would come into play, and we will have to uh, seek the electronic evidence in accordance with those laws, because those servers are there. And so that, I think these are the main challenges that we are seeing right now. And we do have outdated laws. Let me tell you, I'm not going to say that the law is sufficient for today's day and age, because when the law was drafted back in 2000, I'm talking about Information Technology Act, this technology was nowhere. We did not even thought of this technology that it might come into play in the future. And this is evolving at such a fast pace that we will require amendments. We'll at least require some sort of rules to guide us through it. That's what I feel.
Thank you, Mr. Rajas. And now the floor is open for questions. So I request all the audiences to please put your questions in the chat box. And then after that, we will have closing remarks from all the panelists. Yeah, we have one question for Colonel Vinod. AI is increasingly used in security and surveillance. How can organizations prevent misuse of AI-powered surveillance while ensuring public safety?
Okay. Uh, in terms, I'll restrict myself to India per se. Uh, Rest assured that the DPDP Act has got a safeguard with regard to individual privacy is concerned, unless there is an exceptional use clause which is existing part of the Act. However, there is a concern of privacy because the monster is available. There is a concern of privacy. Yet now, that is why the DPDP Act did not have a top down approach of privacy implementation. It got in a down top. That means the data principle itself is more powerful because the consent became the primary core of our Privacy Act, which is there in India, which is nowhere across the world. So, by virtue of the consent manager being available and who's one to one with the data principle, there is a lot of power that is vested in the hands of our citizens or the residents of India. Now, to ensure this, Government of India cannot take initiative to ensure your privacy unless you become a criminal where they will have access to it. That is in any case, even today, you read the Telecom Regulatory Act or you read the Income Tax Act or you read the PMLA Act, all of them have got provisions to snoop on you, but for the government's sake. The safeguard on AI has been built alongside the DPDP Act. So, if you look at the holistic aspect of India per se, I think the privacy and the non surveillance part, so that you don't become a surveillance state, is basically based on the principles of our constitution and also on the DPDP Act. Now, notwithstanding that, Government of India is going to review the IT Act because everything is digital today. All your data today is digital. Today, you go to a petrol pump and fill petrol. He will ask you to fill a slip for a Mahindra holiday. That number may get passed on to Lodha Estates. Again, that will go to the insurance company. Or you buy a car, immediately you'll get 10 calls. From accessory owners, from painters to service agencies. So that aspect will change per se. Okay. From that perspective, you as a consent owner has the right to be forgotten, modify, and also the right to withdraw your consent. So when the consent is taken from now on after the DPDP Act is passed, you become powerful with regard to your data. So, and Government of India is not going to do anything. And if you have a complaint, then the board, the Data Privacy Board, will take on this as an. So, I feel this law is unique in the globe, and the citizen becomes more, or the resident of India becomes more powerful with regard to your consent, you not being surveyed, or your data not being passed on to others. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Colonel Manoj. And we will have,
Sorry, I have a follow-up for sir. Sir,
yeah.
I was going through the privacy policy of DeepSeek and OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. I was comparing those privacy policies, and if you see the DeepSeek's privacy policy, if you see, a lot of information is being collected, and a lot of information, I mean, all the information is being sent to China. So, and Chinese government can use that particular information for surveillance purposes. So, I just wanted to hear your take on the safe.
If you, Navisa would be actually much prominent to answer this, but I'll make an endeavor here. With respect to the DPDP Act, any entity who subscribes to services for Indian residents or to citizens of India would be subjected to the Act. Now, further on, if you subscribe to DeepSeek in lieu of, let's say, India's AI model, let's say tomorrow it is you who have given consent to that foreign body to take your data and use it. And so one has to be careful. That's why I say your own privacy hygiene is more important. That when we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, or we take a shave, or we take a shower. So similar would be the aspect of your own privacy from your own hygiene perspective. That's what I would say. Government of India will not be able to protect 1.4 billion people with respect to that. Yeah. I hope
Thank
I've
you,
been
sir.
able to answer that.
Thank you, uh, Kalan Manoj. And one very interesting question. This is, I think, for Navi sir, from Mr. Kalyan Potukuchi. Should we use Sanskrit in India for generating a basic foundation AI for India, as most languages in India find their roots in Sanskrit? And it has been said by many experts in the field that Sanskrit is a very good language for developing AI, and it even requires less energy if we use Sanskrit. Just a thought, question, suggestion, would really to be honored to hear from the esteemed experts here.
See, the problem with AI is basically because the data used for training is either insufficient or is from a different context. So whether you use Sanskrit for coding or something else is not directly related to the efficiency of the AI. So what we need to do is that every AI has to be labeled based on the training data which it uses. And see, we were also discussing about some of these legal AI models, LLM models giving out false stories and other things. The reason for that is the training data, let us say even the data on the internet, which our Google and others searches, that data itself has been sufficiently poisoned even as of today. And after some time, the data which is actually created by other AIs with the objective of poisoning the whole data reference data will actually be more than the genuine data. When we reach that critical stage, the trust factor will be completely broken down, and the large language models which depend upon the data available in free internet actually will only give wrong data. So we have to actually revert then to training the large language models only on closed data systems, and subscribers to the closed data systems should ensure that only genuine data is placed in that environment, so that whatever comes out of that as a model will actually be more reliable than the models which come from US and others. So we are at crossroads as of today. We don't know whether we should adopt the model as it is presently available. If so, we are going in a direction which we do not know where we will reach, when every AI response is unreliable, or it will lead me to a wrong decision. And unless I am humanly capable of, say, spotting the problems which the AI response has got, I think I will not be able to use the AI for any reliable work. So I think that is where maybe we will come to a situation like some time back, if you remember, we were all discussing about Internet 1 and Internet 2 kind of a thing. Okay. Likewise, now the training environment actually, for example, in India, if you are talking of, if we want to have reliable AI coming out of India, we have to have a reliable training data coming out of, say, known subscribers. That is, the persons who put in their data into the system also should be accountable. So that cannot, if you look at today's Twitter or X kind of a thing, you can spot a number of responses which are put there only to ensure that an engine which is picking up that data will have more data of a particular nature. For example, somebody may be simply saying, I think Kumbh Mela is a failure. Do you agree? Why is that statement is made? That is because they want some kind of large language model pick it up as one instance of a statement. And if 100 such statements are there, the data is already poisoned. I think to prevent that, we need to create a reliable training data set to which actually people need to subscribe. And from there, you have to generate the model. Then I think we will be having a better system. I think this is one thought which I have based on our discussions.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Navi sir. And I will just request all the panelists just have a 1 minute closing remarks on the topic. So, and then after we will, with my closing remark, we will end the session. Kanan Bilose,
I will just add my
sure,
thought.
sure, sure.
I am really concerned, okay, because of the way AI is developing, because our only control is the regulation, but we are not fully in control of implementation of the regulation. I can make a law, I can say 250 crores, but still I may not be able to implement it. So that is not in our custody. So we should be prepared for a world where we will be having, say, rogue AI algorithms in the marketplace. And I do not know how we will be able to counter that. If we don't take action today, I think it will be a little too late. And just as, for example, many social media platforms actually lost because after some time people thought that this social media platform is no use. Likewise, this also may end in to some kind of a problem. So I think it is time for us to sit back and take a complete relook at how we are governing this growth of AI.
Thank you. Thank you, Navi sir. And Kanal Vinos, your
Yeah,
thoughts.
thank you. Presuming that all our audience are, are law professionals, I'll just put a small scenario which happened very recently. Uh, I'm also doing a PhD in law from ULAR, this Bar Council of India college. So there was a topic of where a student wanted to introduce a thesis with regard to AI. And you mind you, that took the complete day to decide how to get that topic passed as a dissertation topic for the PhD. But I per se being a Fauji, I'll counter Navi sir. I'll say Dabbicha. Use AI to it, But remember, for law professionals is concerned, we are much governed by citation aspects, which is part of our Advocate Act also, that the citation is most important in our any court or anything that we produce to the judiciary. AI should be used as only legal assist, number one. That is. Now, I've done a lot of study across the globe, and I find that Australia has done a wonderful job in adopting AI. Mind you, the E-Code project of India, the phase 3 says that AI has to be adopted. Now, what the Indian judiciary would adopt, we don't know. But yet, in fact, the Department of Justice in the US came out with a regulatory officer only in February of 2024. And the NIJ is working on standards of use of legal in the judicial department. So I like to conclude in only one thing. AI today is like a brake in your car. It gives us the confidence that I can drive at 100, 120, 180 because I know that I have a brake to be used and the car will stop. So use AI as cautious as possible, as if it is a brake in your car. So it is available to you when you want to stop your car. But it is not a deterrent in any of our activities today. I feel that AI should be used as much as it is available to us. Yet judicial department has to exercise caution. It is only a legal assist, and citations have to be adhered to even in the case of AI courts or use of AI in the Indian judicial system. In fact, the Prime Minister only day before yesterday said that the judicial system has to adopt technology and move forward so that our backlogs in India will come down and better automated judicial aspects will be. I know Rajas may not support me, but when the e-court concept came in, the lawyers went on strike saying that हमारा नौकरी चला जाएगा. But then that is not the case. We have to use AI so that our population is huge. We have to subscribe to governance to such a large mass of people in India. So we need to use it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Manoj. Now over to Mr. Rajas. And you rightly said, as we after COVID, when we were into hybrid mode or only into E mode, so we all said that our physical was good, but now at sitting in the office, we can have 3 cases at a time, and we have a lot of time is consumed, lot of money is saved. Okay, now Mr. Rajas, your closing remark.
Contrary, sir, I completely concur what you said about using AI. I use AI, and you have to use it as efficiently as possible, as carefully as possible. I'm just hoping that going forward, when we are talking about quantum technology, and you rightly said that Microsoft, Google, and so many other companies are developing their quantum chips. I'm just hoping that we don't see a scenario where AI is going rogue and like the movie, I'm just hoping that we don't see a Terminator kind of a scenario anytime soon. And that's why these essential checks and balances are required in our society. That's what I feel.
Thank you, Rajas. Thank you for your closing remarks. And thank you to everyone who asked us thoughtful questions and to our panelists for their insightful responses. This has been an incredibly enriching discussions, and I believe we have only scratched the surface of this complex and evolving topic. To summarize, today we explored the ethical, regulatory, and governance challenge of AI and emerging technologies. We discussed the importance of balancing innovation with accountability, the need for robust legal framework, and the critical role of collaboration between businesses, governments, and regulators. Our panelists have highlighted how AI can be a force for good, but only if we address its risk proactively and responsibly. As we move forward, it is clear that the conversation around AI and its legal implications will continue to evolve. The key takeaway is that while technology advances at a rapid pace, our approach to governance, ethics, and security must keep up, ensuring that AI serves humanity in a fair, transparent, and secure manner. Thank you once again to our incredible panelists, Mr. Navi, Kanal Vinoj, and Mr. Rajas, for sharing your expertise and perspectives. And thank you to our audience, for your active participation. Let's continue this conversation beyond today, as we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI and emerging technologies. With that, I would like to formally conclude today's panel discussion. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Very insightful.
Thank you.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank
Anand,
you.
for actually moderating us. Well,
Yeah,
and I
thank you so
hope
much.
the
Thank you.
audience have
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much,